Oh, that wasn't good.
Dogs on the run! Dogs on the run!
Enough. Every dog is on the run in the world this morning because the Browns did not look very good yesterday. 31-13. That's 2 weeks in a row. They don't look very good. He's Mike Cairns. I'm Andy Baskin. This is Dogs on the Run. Welcome to NewsNet5.com and on your mobile app on NewsNet 5 as well. We're glad you're with us. We invite you to Skype in at Dogs on the Run, DAWGS, right there on the bottom, right there-ish. Or you can call us at 216-431-3820. You can hit us on Twitter at Andy_Baskin or Facebook, Andy Baskin WEWS, or you're Mike Cairns 5. What are you on Facebook?
Mike Cairns WEWS.
There you go. It's that easy. So just take our name, put WEWS on the line. All right, so we've got a couple phone calls. People already want to talk about the Browns' loss. We're also going to find out what's going on social media this morning. So we'll turn to Chris Horn, who is in today for Connor Kiesel. Well, first of all, tell us what happened to Connor. That's the first question.
From what I understand, he has an appendectomy that he's recovering from. So certainly not something he wanted to miss a show for, I'm sure.
Word is on the street that is, what? You're already throwing a flag on me? Oh my God! The guy's appendix burst, and you're throwing a flag.
Browns,
That's harsh.
I think the Browns.
Every week I do that.
The Browns' play is so bad that it bursts Connor's appendix. I mean, Whedon just horrible play.
The comedy antics
I think it
of Eric, the referee, this morning. Thank you. All right, so tell us what's going on social media. Are people still steamed?
No, they love Brandon Whedon. Everyone on Twitter, Facebook, love him. I'm sorry, they would love to replace him.
Yes. Good stuff. All right, so what's the question that's going on social media this morning? I know.
I think it's who would you replace Whedon with? Actually, right now on Twitter, Whedon sucks is trending. Hashtag Whedon sucks. And some of the replacements, of course, Jason Campbell. People want the Browns to pick up Tim Tebow. But we have some other interesting options, Vince Young being one. Tim Couch, who I think
I could call him now.
All right, why don't you call Tim again?
That might work. Kenny G from Ohio State. Brian Hoyer in a wheelchair would be preferenced. The preference of many Browns fans on Twitter. So those are a few. We'll keep track of that and let you know if any other good names come up.
Yeah, Chris, I got to tell you, we're going to come back to you more often than.
No, you're outstanding. I think Connor's. No, never mind. I didn't even want to go there. But
can you lose your job to injury?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask Brian Hoyer.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can't play.
I know, but he lost his job to injury.
Tell Macy she looks gorgeous this morning, by the way, behind you.
Ask Macy who she wants to play quarterback next week.
Will do.
Yeah, she's right.
She's on the phone.
Oh, geez. She's already talking to her
she's
agent.
working.
She just got
She
off
has
the
a
air.
job.
I think she's off the phone now. She's looking at somebody. All right, Chris, we'll come back to you because we're already.
I'll find out in the meantime. It'll be breaking news.
All right, well, you just Skype in anytime you want. We'll take you anytime.
Thanks, guys.
I think we're going to go 24 hours on that newsroom at this point. All right, let's go to the phone lines because you already want to talk about the game. 216-431-3820, and we go to Mike, who's been waiting patiently. Hi, Mike.
How you doing this morning?
What's up, man? How are you? I'm kind of, you know what? I'm not in a good mood. I'm going to be really honest. I mean, it was another brutal game. This team had a 3-game winning streak. Now I'm watching Pittsburgh crawl up in the standings. It's not good. It's not good.
How are you doing this morning?
I mean, I'm going through it as a fan. You can't do nothing but with it. I mean, Whedon panics too much. He don't have patience. Once that pocket is pushed back in his lap, he just loses it.
What do you want them to do? That's the biggest question.
Yeah, he wants to do it. You can see that he has the determination to want to do it. But I say they need to pull him now. I mean, set him down and let him look at all the tapes, get him back there, and get him working on his mechanics.
Mike, I think this is the problem with pulling him. If you pull him, you might as well cut him. Because that's where I think they are with this. Will you agree with that?
Yeah.
If you pull him, you may as well cut him. There's no reason. Because he already doesn't have confidence. I watched this team all week last week go, he's our man, he's our man. You guys are getting this wrong. You're getting it wrong. Every one of us. I read beat reporters that said, there's no doubt about it, Brandon Whedon is the man that should start and lead this team this week. Did you read any of those stories? I read them. And then I got ridiculed by
No, I
a few.
didn't read none of those. I mean, well, I know the position we in, I mean, we can't very well win too many games with the trade we made because we need to get a trade value for the trade.
Which trade are you talking about? Trent Richardson?
I mean,
Are you talking about Richardson's doing nothing in Indianapolis.
And we don't know what the
he's
trade.
doing nothing.
We don't know what the
in
trade value is going to
Indianapolis.
be, though, Mike. He's not. He's
Right.
not doing anything.
We'll find out.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, thanks for hanging on the line.
Right.
We appreciate your phone call.
That trade value
Have a
could
good
be skyrocketing.
All right,
now, 'cause that looks like the best.
I want to
move
go
they
to
made.
Appleton, Wisconsin right now. Let's check in with Richard Bauer. Richard is with the Fox Valley Browns backers in Appleton. And Richard, I feel sorry for you, man. We feel bad here in Cleveland, but if you've got to live there and be right in the heart of it, my heart goes out to you this morning.
I appreciate Andy and Mike. I appreciate that.
Did you go to the game? What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I did. I had the opportunity. I was a couple rows behind the Browns bench, so I had very good seats. Actually, during the game, Packer fans were around us, and they apologized. They said, we are so sorry you don't have a quarterback. It was just sitting there watching it, and you just watched them coming off the sidelines and just sitting and looking at the paperwork and just not interacting with these guys. It was tough. It was tough to see.
How big's the group out there, Richard? And what was the group like? Not only before the game, but after the game. I'm sure you guys got together.
Well, the group was large. Our Fox Valley Browns backers, this is our second year in existence. We've doubled. We're only at 12 members, which is very small, but we've grown from 6 members from last year to 12 this year. So definitely on the uptake. Our president left, and he went back to Ohio. I took it over. So we're doing a lot more. We hosted the Browns Backer Bash on Saturday night. There was well over 150 plus Browns fans,
awesome.
backers from Southern California, Texas, from all over. And the feeling was good. We felt really good going into Lambeau that the Browns were going to do well, that Whedon was away from Cleveland so he wouldn't hear the boos. He could take off the earmuff. But the first series when he stepped out there and he threw a couple passes that just totally missed the receivers, you could just see it in the fans around us. It was just like, man, this is going to be a long game.
Hey,
and it was.
Were you watching into the bench area at all?
Oh yeah. I was like I said, 2 rows from behind the bench.
And what was your read on the bench? Did you watch the bench at all yesterday? I mean, this is stuff we can't get on TV, so.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was watching Whedon a lot. He would sit by himself. I used to be a Whedon supporter, and it's a total team effort. But it was just the defense. I mean, they were picking each other up. They were talking to each other, the offense too. But he would just seem to go sit. And Campbell went by him. They were looking at paperwork, and then you get up, throw some passes, and go back in. There's a manager and there's a leader. He is not a leader. I don't see him.
Richard, did Campbell ever warm up at all during the game?
All he did was play catch with Whedon before Whedon went in. He'd throw passes back and forth. That was it.
Unbelievable.
If anybody wants to get involved in the Fox Valley Browns backers, what do they need to do?
They can go to clevelandbrowns.com, go to the backer page, and they can sign up with the Browns here in Fox Valley, backers here. But we're growing. Like I said, that's the best way to do it. We are on Facebook, Fox Valley Browns backers. Definitely got a lot of people looked at us during the course of the week who were coming up for the Green Bay game. So we appreciated that.
Hey, Richard, thank you so much, and we appreciate your time. We know you woke up early for us this morning.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And about the only thing I liked yesterday were those Acme Packer hats.
I love
those
the
were
Acme
kinda cool.
Packer hats.
What'd you think? Send us
Hey,
those and a
I
couple
asked-
brats, will you please?
Sure. Hey, I asked you guys a favor, could I?
Sure.
Yeah, I was listening to Andre Knott last night coming home from whatever station he's on, and then they were starting to rip Chud, the coach,
Right.
after 7 games. I don't know what you guys' view on it, but 7 games and what he's got to work with, I don't think that's fair at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great point, Richard. We'll talk about that in a second because Kenny Rhoda is standing by too. So, Richard, thank you for the phone
Awesome.
call. We'll talk about that in 1 second. Appreciate it.
Have a great
All right,
day,
Richard
guys.
Bauer checking in, the president of the Fox Valley Browns backers in Appleton, Wisconsin, joining us here early this morning. All right, let's bring that question into Kenny Rhoda, our 3rd member of our team here this morning. Hi, Coach Rhoda. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys this morning?
You know what?
Doing good.
Apathy is starting to set in for me, Kenny, because, I know they can do better. I know this team can do better. I think for the majority of the guys on this team, they come to work every day and they expect to win. And I don't know that the front office is in it to win it at this point, but I do know this, that they can do better at quarterback.
Yeah, you would think so, right? I mean, what's it say about Jason Campbell if they stick with Brandon Weeden after the way he played yesterday? I think they have to take a serious look at the quarterback position this week, see who's available, go through that list, scour that list, and see if there's anybody out there that's going to give them a better chance to win a football game, because it's not Brandon Weeden, that's for sure. It must not be Jason Campbell if he can't supplant Brandon Weeden as the starter or come off the bench. So they've got to look around the league to see who's out there, who's available, if they're trying to win this year. If they're not, and I created a new one, it's called Alpha Dip. Remember Apith, another ping pong ball in the hopper, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Alpha Dip is the new one, another loss for a higher draft pick. Alpha Dip. Maybe that's what they're looking for this season. Maybe, they realize that they're not going to win a Super Bowl championship, and I think all of us realized that at the beginning of the season. But because of the quarterback class that's coming out, they want the highest draft pick they can possibly get. And I go back to when Coach Luke was coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers. Road man, they wouldn't let me play my bigs. And they wouldn't. They told him what he could and he could not do. And Chud's in his first year. Maybe he has some restrictions. Maybe they've told him, look, this is what you have to work with, and do the best you can with what you have to work with.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kenny. And, the question was posed to us by Richard from the Browns backers in Green Bay. They said the fact that Chud was getting ripped on the radio. I agree with you 100%. I think coming in, he knew exactly what the restrictions were, and he is dealing with it the best he can. The bigger question is, and I know a lot of people on social media were also ripping Norv Turner, saying, I know you don't have a good quarterback, but you've won with quarterbacks that weren't that great before. Why can't you sculpt some kind of offense around this quarterback, even as bad as he is? And I'm like, I don't think that's possible, to be honest with you.
Did you see the underhand flip again yesterday, guys?
Man.
2 games in a row. He hasn't learned
Nothing.
from what took place
is that an
last
underhand
week.
flip,
Andy,
or is
I
that a
heard your
flip
radio
you,
show. You guys
Kenny?
were playing the Flipper song.
Right.
He's had to have heard the Flipper song, and he goes out there yesterday, and I tweeted out he's Antoine Jameson. Flips, flings, and floaters. That's what Antoine shot every time he was with the Cavaliers, and that's what Brandon Wheat, he just doesn't get it. You want to see a guy progress, not make the same mistake twice. Mm-hmm. And, yes, it wasn't intercepted yesterday, but it was just as bad of a pass as 2 weeks ago. So this kid, I think he can be a backup quarterback in the league, meaning he's on the roster, and if he has to come off the bench, you're in a pinch, that's fine. But he's not a starting quarterback in this league, I guess, except for the Cleveland Browns.
What do you think? I watched that flip, and I was just like, is he just trying to tell everybody in Cleveland, forget you? And I'm being nice.
I don't know what to think at this point, guys. I really don't. I watched that, and I tweeted out, WTF. I mean, really? You're going to do that again after the abuse you took last week, and you saw the result last week? I understand you want to try and avoid the sack, but if you're going to intentionally ground the ball, at least throw it out of bounds and make a statement by throwing it 15 rows up into the stands that you're getting pressure and you're ticked off about it. Don't just flip it out there where it can be picked off and returned for a touchdown. He was lucky it wasn't intercepted, and the Browns have a serious quarterback situation right now.
It's terrible. He just had no touch on the football. He looked absolutely befuddled by defenses. It looked like it was the first time he had ever picked up a football, went out there and played. I thought he was absolutely – he couldn't have been any worse. He's gunning 90-mile-an-hour fastballs to Chris Obanaya, who's standing 3 feet from him. I mean, you're wondering just what you had mentioned. Has he learned anything? I don't see anything. You go all the way back to the beginning of the year where he was saying he was going to work on his drop, his footwork, not patting the football.
But he did have his best week of practice last week. He was great in practice last week.
I think that's a secret squirrel in there.
We're talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? Come on, man. I mean, go back to the Allen Iverson thing, right? It's about showing up in the guts of the game, not the game, so – I don't know what they're going to do, guys. I really don't. You look at this and you just say, well, that's who they have, and do they want to go out and maybe try and bring in a Vince Young at this point to salvage the season, or do they really not care what their record is? And the higher you are up in the draft in a year of the so-called quarterback compared to maybe 1983, where there are going to be a lot of first-round quarterback selections, you want to have the higher pick. So we'll have to see how this plays out for the rest of this season. But if they don't do anything, they're going to get abuse on the talk shows, on the internet. If they do something, then within that locker room, players are going to be wondering what the heck's going on, as well as any job safe. So it's turning from a 3-game winning streak to a 2-game losing streak. It's turning back into the chaos that has been consistent in Berea since they've returned in '99.
If they cared, Kenny, they would have had Jason Campbell start in the second half after Brandon Whedon went 5 for 14 for 48 yards in a quarterback rating of a 16.4 at the half. If they cared, Jason Campbell would have started that second half, no doubt.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, the first series, he's throwing it into the Browns bench or the Packers bench on a couple of those passes. I mean, he missed poorly on some of those. And don't give me the weather was a factor. Aaron Rodgers dealt with the same wind, the same rain, the same temperature, all of the above. So Brandon Whedon right now should not be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns unless, again, Alpha Dip. Another loss for a higher draft pick.
All right, Kenny, we're going to catch up with you in another half hour, so stay tuned. We'll come right back to you in a little bit, Coach.
All right, sounds good.
It's got a little bit of Woody Hayes going on there.
I love it. Oh, he's always like that.
216-431-3820. 216-431-3820 is the number to call, or Skype in. We want to see you. We like hearing from you, but we really want to see you. Dogs on the Run, DAWGS. On the Run. That's how you do it, and you want to come in. The other thing to do is, if you're just listening to us this morning, there are no rules. I can't stress that enough without telling you everything I need to say to you, but there are absolutely no rules on this show. We are not governed by the same laws that you would see over on News Channel 5. But I will say this, if you want to, what you want to do is listen in on your way to work. You can just plug it into your Bluetooth, or you can plug it into your help me, why am I forgetting what it's called? USB. Take your USB cable, plug it right into your car, or do it through Bluetooth, or just hit speakerphone on your phone and listen in on the Newsnet 5 app. We know we have plenty of folks that do that on their way into work because they want to hear what's going on with the Browns. And that flip pass, now I got that flip pass on my head. Because if that was such a bad pass last week and everybody was ready to crucify him for that, he did it again yesterday. How could you do that again yesterday at the end of the – is that really your best play?
No, it's not.
Pass,
throw it at somebody's feet, throw it away, throw it 40 yards into the stands. I don't care, but don't flip the ball out in the middle of the field where it can get. And it was almost picked off again.
At 7:30, we're going to do. We'll do Angry Browns Fan. Angry Browns Fan will join us at 7:30. So in about 12 minutes till that. And I don't know if you've had a chance to see Angry Browns Fan, but the guy that goes on, he reads tweets. It's hysterical. Goes down in his basement. I'm sure he's got to scream at his mom to be quiet upstairs, but he'll go down in his basement and he'll start reading tweets. It's awesome. It's great stuff, so you want to make sure that you're able to see the Angry Browns Fan as well.
We're getting a lot of tweets, actually. I mean, I was just kidding around with the folks on Twitter. Which quarterback would you like to see start Sunday against the Chiefs? Flipper, Colt, or Brady Quinn? And we're getting Ty Detmer. We're getting Tim Couch, bring back Couch. What did Tubby Dog?
I get the argument. I mean, look, I especially on my radio show last week, I had people screaming at me last week. What are you going to do? How are you going to do better? How are you going to, what were you going to bring in? What are you going to do better? This is the NFL, folks. I mean, if this guy can't make a 3-yard pass, and everyone knows what's coming. You get the ball inside the red zone. They had the great run back yesterday, and they got the ball down inside the red zone. And you're like, I don't have any faith in this team to score. Do you?
No, not at all. I don't have any faith for them to move the football. You can't run the ball. You have no running game. And then, of course, you have
no running game.
None.
Let's not underestimate that.
Which makes
it
worse.
Chris Obanaya cannot block. He's not a blocking back. That's not what he does. Chris Obanaya can't block. I can't stress that enough.
In order to throw the football, you've got to be able to run the football. They can't run the football, and they certainly don't have a guy who can throw the football. They have weapons on offense. There's no doubt about it. They have receivers who can catch the ball. Although Josh Gordon, and that's something I really want to get into today, is he looked like he wanted to be in Wisconsin about as bad as you and I wanted to be there and stand in the rain.
I don't think
for
anybody
3 hours.
wanted to be there.
He looked absolutely out of touch. And Reggie Rucker, our Browns analyst, made a great point last night on the Ford Sports Sunday. He said he's never seen a receiver in all of his years of playing football, watching football, who calls to the sideline for help after he runs a pattern. That's what he's getting paid to do. He would run his pattern and then be called to be taken out. There was a 3rd and 15 in the game yesterday. Of course Josh Gordon should be there on 3rd and 15. That's your best receiver on the big down, and he's not in there? That tells me a lot about him. Whether or not the trade rumors or whatever has finally gotten to him, he is checked out, folks. He is checked out. He is in his car already looking for another speeding ticket somewhere because he is not on this football team. This is not here. That ball that Whedon threw to him I thought was one of his best balls he threw yesterday, over one defender in front of another. I mean, that's a catch he should have made, and he has made a million times over. I think he's checked out.
There were a couple other plays in that game yesterday, and I know that we were talking about Chud a little bit and whether you question what Chud is doing and something. Like there are 2 plays yesterday I'm still trying to figure out. And the one play in particular was the running play on 3rd and 1. It was a 3rd and 1, and you had to assume that if they weren't going to get him because they did this, they went for it on 4th and 1. I got it. I get it. Why not run the ball on 3rd and 1? Then if you want to pass on 4th down, do that. Or if you want to pass on 3rd down, then run on 4th. I could not understand the logic at all in some of the things. Why not kick a field goal? Why didn't
exactly?
There are so many things in that game yesterday.
There was 11 minutes left in the game.
Let's throw the white flag up early.
Yeah, there was 11 minutes left in the game.
But I don't blame him for throwing up the white flag because the team wasn't able to get in the end zone.
But you got to play, and Coach Sam said it best last night, when there are points on the board, you've got to take them because your team's on the road. It's obviously a struggle to get the ball in the end zone. If Billy Cundiff's your weapon, he's your weapon, and then maybe the defense makes something happen because that's all you can rely on. Had they kicked that field goal and then they came back and got the touchdown, it's a one-possession game with 7 minutes to go, and you got your defense. Now your defense is like, hey, we got our guys back into the game, and maybe there's a little momentum going. Not at all. They go for it on 4th down.
These are things just like I can watch on high school games on Friday night where high school coaches get it, but then I don't understand what they're in Marino at Sugar Falls on Friday night. I was watching them play against West G. Same situation. They had the ball on the 1 yard line. He's got a good field goal kicker, so they decided to kick the field goal. They won 22-20 because they decided to go for the field goal. And at the time, you might say, well, my team's running the ball down the field. I think we're pretty confident. But to take the points on the board was probably the right move. All right, let's go out to probably somewhere near Twinsburg.